We just paused. We have a poor connection. When I walked into the Canyon Club today, we got the word that the Canyon Club doors are officially opening tonight. Pretty amazing. So it seems like a little bit of luck and kismet that we have our special guest here today with us. I'd love to bring Lance Sterling on. Is Lance around? Lance Sterling owns how many clubs now does the Canyon Club own? 9 clubs. And we're really excited to talk to him and find out what's happening. We're all as excited and as surprised as anybody that the Canyon Club doors are opening tonight. Also, I wanted to say thank you guys for the last episode. It was great to be able to spend quality time with you guys. I loved the questions and the responses really been overwhelming. So I really appreciate it. I also, it's going to be a little bit all over the map because Stuttering John is iconic. And it turns out that we have a lot of friends in common. And I'm just kind of interested in covering a lot of territory with John. I think John is willing to go there. He says yes. Is he coming?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So here's the deal.
He's upset with his camera.
What happened? Oh, wait. We're supposed to say that the first 30 customers tonight get free burgers here at the Canyon Club in Agora Hills. Pretty fucking awesome. Anyway, you guys. So here's the deal. I am really thrilled to be welcoming Stuttering John on my show. I kind of was a huge fan during the Howard Stern time, and he was the first to me and first to everybody, like, I don't give a fuck guy. And, you know, I consider myself to be kind of badass from Brooklyn, and like I would definitely do things on a dare, but this guy is legendary.
Yeah.
Wait, Gus is also legendary.
Legendary.
This is Gus.
How are you?
I call him Gustavo. This is our general manager here at the Canyon.
Get comfortable.
We put 3 pillows up for everybody. Anyway, I was just telling them that we're opening tonight.
We're open.
We just found that out. So it's kind of a beautiful night and wonderful that Stuttering John is in the house with us. Tell us what we can expect and the changes and all of that.
The buzz is out. We've been putting it out. Everybody's excited. Make sure to go to Gus's guest list. Go
Gus's
online,
guest
Gus's
list, you
guest
guys.
list. I give you all the information you need. We're going to open up. We're going to get some loud music in here, some good energy, great food, new menu.
Renovated space. Everything is 6 feet
At
apart.
the Wall of Fame behind us.
Wall of Fame behind us, yeah. First 30 customers tonight get a free burger, which is amazing.
And you're going to see me.
And we're going to see
Come see
Gustavo will be behind the bar.
I'm going to go by Gustavo from now on.
I like Gustavo.
That's it.
Am I the only one who calls you Gustavo?
List.
Awesome. Anyway, so Stuttering John's here.
Stuttering John, that's good. Stuttering John on.
Yeah.
Let me go get you a
Stuttering
wine.
John. I need a
John.
Chardonnay or a Pinot Grigio.
Done.
And if Lance is in the house,
We'll get
let's
Lance too.
definitely bring him on. Look who's here, John. Jennifer.
Not my LinkedIn girlfriend.
Come on in, John. My heart is all warm. You guys, Stuttering John Melendez is here.
Hello.
John has performed at the Canyon.
Yes, I have.
How long ago?
Probably 2 years ago.
Oh, is that too? That's not that long ago.
No.
Did not know that.
I've performed here a few times.
Yeah.
You know, it's a great place.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've been here a bunch of times too.
I just found out, thank you, sweetheart. Sitting with John right before we went live, and I told him that I know Luca Polanca and Tammy Pescatelli. And John tells me that I didn't know that you were Tony and Tina's wedding. How did I not know that? I obviously didn't do my research. But, and that you met and you married your wife, and she was Tina?
Yeah, so what happened was I was Barry first. I was the best man. And then, you know, it was like kind of a thing. Joe Corcoran, you know.
Yeah.
The owner was like, hey, it's Stuttering John, let's get him in the show. And then I did. And I got Fred's wife also in the show, which almost got them divorced because she played the nun who was making out with the
yeah.
But at one show, and it was right, I think it was after I proposed to my wife, so we were getting married in Amagansett, but we played Tony and Tina's, and then I played Tony, she played Tina, so and when we did the wedding ceremony, it felt like that was like the real wedding because I had because I had tears in my eyes, even though it was though it was a show, and it was like as we were doing the vows,
it was like real deal.
I was like,
for you.
Susanna, we just got married already. We need to go spend $50,000 in them again.
I know. I thought the same thing when my father came to Tony and Tina's, and I danced with him as Tina. He was bawling because for him, it was real because I had already started dating Tony and he knew that and he thought it was like a good match or whatever. And how amazing is that show? Like how many people are become like family from that show? And you got close with Luca.
Well, that's what I mean because Tammy Pescatelli is a friend of mine. She was a co-host on my podcast, but Luca was one of my best friends on,
such a small world.
That's her husband, but at Tony and Tina's, I mean, he was the second Tony,
right?
Because it was first
Mark Nassar.
No, it wasn't Mark Nassar. It was the other guy. I can't remember.
I know who you mean. The younger guy.
The guy looked like Dice a little bit.
Yeah,
Michael Rapiso.
Oh my God, I haven't heard that name in a really long time.
So he was there, and so so I really Tony and Tina is like a family.
It is like a family.
I'm still friends with Justine.
Justine, I know. And Amy Lord from Philadelphia is now she's an agent and she's here. Are you ready for this? I think now Luca and Tammy don't say this, but I really am the reason that they're together.
Oh, really?
Because I think I was doing stand-up, and that's a long story. I started doing stand-up. I thought I was taking a writing class, and it turns out it was a stand-up class. I ended up doing stand-up, and Luca he's a good friend of my husband's, and he came to see me do stand-up, and he was like, I fucking want to do stand-up. And so he started doing stand-up. I introduced him to the owner of the Improv, and then he started doing stand-up, and he's like a natural. Like, to me, there's no funnier guy.
Yeah.
Like, he's just really funny. And then I believe, as the story goes, he met Tammy at the Comedy Store. So indirectly, I claim credit for that.
Yeah,
I think that's okay.
But there was, do you know that? What's her name now?
Nancy.
Sharon Angela.
Yeah,
was also on she was also in Tony and Tina's. And
how do you know Sharon? I know Sharon too.
Well, because we all became friends. Like everybody, it's like family.
I know.
And Sharon was a star of The Sopranos.
That's right.
Yeah.
And she also directed a movie that Luca wrote. So it's 4 vignettes, and she was one of the directors. And Aida Turturro. Do you know Aida?
Yeah. But now to get even more inside baseball.
This is crazy.
Sharon Angela, I used to play a prank on Steve Grillo. Like, she played a casting director, and I had like a guy on the Stern Show do crazy things because he thought he was going to get an acting job. But anyway, it's like all Tony and Tina stuff.
Yeah.
But that was like it was a great time in my life. But I guess you and I both, we both met our spouses.
We met our spouses. Yeah. I was thinking about too, like when you were on Howard Stern, there's I know Howard says that you just had such balls. I used to admire you. I'm like, how does he do that? And you were like the original at that. And I know that Howard says that he gave you the questions, but I think to myself, is that true? First of all? And that's not really the hard part. The hard part is asking the questions.
Howard never, he tried it out at one time and said it was too uncomfortable for him to do that. And he needed the perfect kind of idiot like me. And, and it's just fate because with me, and I'm going to tell you that on my 5th grade report card, the teacher wrote to my mom, John tends to ask outrageous and penetrating questions in class and stutters when excited. And it was like, this is like my freaking resume.
Oh my God, that's beautiful.
And just to give you an idea, like how it was with me, because I would ask, I didn't reach puberty till I was in college, but I would ask girls, "Hey, you got a hair down there yet?" Or ask him, like, ask my friends, "You got hair?" Because I don't have a filter.
Right.
Like I didn't see if there was a problem. But the best was 6th grade, junior high. Like they had a human sexuality. It was for all the boys, and their dads were all behind on a riser. So my father's there, and then and they get done, giving the speech about and they go, "You have any questions?" So of course me, and this is just the truth. I go, how many holes does a girl have?
Oh.
And and I keep on asking, so where is this G spot, and how do I find? I still haven't found that answer. But you're still which explains looking. My divorce. But like I started, and then everybody, all the boys started handing me, hurry up. They would write questions and handing it to me, let me ask it, because they knew that I didn't care.
Right.
So my father, all the dads.
So this is all from the beginning.
All the dads are laughing, and my father had his head in his hands going, "Oh no!" And I was just asking everything. I don't get it. If the sperm is the fastest thing to get to the egg, why are there fat kids? I mean, they can't run. And I'm asking all these things. So it was just perfect. So when I heard Mitch Fatel, who's a famous comic now, but he was a friend at NYU. That's where I went. And I heard him like on the radio doing an interview. I go, "Oh my God, I could do that in 2 seconds." So I asked Mitch if he ever should leave, please hook me up. Thank God he got into a major car accident, and then and he couldn't come to work anymore, but he was healthy. And then it was kismet, and it was so fun. I'll never forget the first interview that I ever did was with Carly Simon and Danny Glover and Antoinette. I was stuttering up a storm, and I'm going, this is just, I am failing. I am failing. And then I bring the tape back to Howard. And then the next day it becomes 3 hours and of gold. And Howard's like, "You're a star." And I'm like, "I don't understand." I go, he goes, "Dude, the stutter, everything, your personality." He's like, "It's the best." He goes, "You're great on the air." And that was it. You know what I mean? So.
And how old were you?
22.
So that's kismet. That's like you stepping right into who you are, what you do, and what your gift is.
Yeah.
And then it was just magic. I felt like that way when Tony and Tina happened. Like I just felt like this was like dropped in my lap out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But it was like everything that I wanted to do. How was I know you were an intern. See, I was shocked to hear that for 2 years that you guys, you're just interning and you're working crazy hours and you don't really get paid, but you're learning and it's going to pay off. Right.
Yeah. Well, and maybe this is like a lesson I always teach. Yeah. Because I mentor, children on stuttering and everything else. You got to grab every opportunity. So to me, I was like, okay, this is what I'm given. Now I got to go out
and make something, right? Okay.
Yeah. So I once waited 12 to 15 hours to get one Chevy Chase interview. Why? Because I was like, I get that interview and I get airtime the next day. Airtime translates to gigs translates to money.
Okay, so then let's talk about this for a second. This
it's
is
just
amazing.
all about
But what made you do that? Because I think to myself, like, I know that your father was tough on you, right? And he knocked you around.
Well,
right?
It's kind of it's
so that could either turn the person into a bully, or it makes a person be very successful, driven.
Well, okay, there's so many ways to answer this. First of all, I got to go with the bully thing first because with my father, he unfortunately was a loving guy, and then when he would snap, he would
Was he a drinker?
No, but he would beat the crap out of everybody, like especially my sisters, like. They got it the worst, and I had to witness it. That's when the stutter. Right?
Oh,
that's when the stutter.
Oh wow!
Because I'll never forget. 5 years old, and my back is against my door while I'm watching my father smack the crap out of my sister and my mom.
What are you gonna do? Like, what are you gonna do?
And my mom runs down, topless, and jumps on my father to pull him off, and I go against the door and go, "Oh no, not again." which only means that it happened before, but I'm only 5, 6, I can't remember. And my mom slept in bed with me that night with a knife to protect me in case my father was going to go crazy on me. But see, here's the problem. He was a great father until he had these episodes.
Which makes it even more complicated.
Which goes right back to Howard. Howard, I love to impress. I loved him. And he could be a great guy, but then he could be the biggest prick in the world. And it was like I was reliving my childhood, you know, because here's this guy that you idolize. And then
who's kind to you sometimes and gives you the break of your life.
You know, gives me the break of my life. And then he's a complete asshole. Yeah. You know, calling me a loser every day.
That's a very dysfunctional.
Yeah. So I was reliving that same thing.
Yeah.
So, and then the other thing I had a feeling I forget was what you were asking about the, you know, what made me decide to like go out and be aggressive.
Like what made you keep going? You know,
it was, you know, it's always been, you know, ever since I was a kid, I had a paper route. I worked in a tire warehouse. I always just,
you knew you were going somewhere. Like you had your eye on the prize.
I just think that the only way you're going to get somewhere is, well, hard work, but you always have to say to yourself, you can't listen to people who tell you that you're nothing. You can't listen to people that say no, and you can't believe in the word can't.
Yeah.
because like I think that's the problem with a lot of people. Like they think that, you know, like they can't do things.
I know, but it's a tricky thing, isn't it? Because some kids will let that moment of being cracked on the head or being humiliated define the rest of their lives. And then there's people like you who'd say, no, I'm not going to let it define me. I'm going to keep going. And I always wonder what that thing is. And that's an amazing thing. And then you attract somebody like Howard who does the same thing. And then it seems to me that you went, I'm done.
Yeah.
Right? Did it come to a point where you just like, I can't handle the torment or not? Or maybe I'm putting words in your mouth.
When I was on Tony and Tina's wedding, that's where I met my wife. I'll never forget when we first started dating. I said, Susanna, I got to get out of here. I'm not gonna, and everyone could say, oh, you're such a wuss and everything. There were times that I literally had tears in my eyes crying from the abuse of Howard. When my wife got pregnant, he told me to abort the kid because because I'm not fit to be a father, and all these things. So,
but that was on the air. Was there a part of you that thought, okay, well, this is shtick, this is his thing?
No, it's not like that's what people. This is the problem, because then people think, oh, but I'm sure he apologized. I'm sure. No, like I always say, like if someone comes up to me and goes, hey, is Howard a good guy off the air? I go, he's a great guy off the air. And then they go, oh, so on the air is all an act. I go, no, off the air is all an act. Because the real Howard is the guy on the air.
Yeah.
He says what he wants to say. That's the real person.
Yes.
It's not the guy off the air who's all nice. I used to laugh at Matt Lauer when he was like, oh, I met Howard. He's so nice and kind. And I'm like, fuck off. I'm like, get out of here. The guy's a bully. And, and look, I don't have any, I'm grateful to him.
Of course. That goes without saying.
And he's super talented, but, I'm not the only one he beat up. He beat up Jackie. He beat up, everybody.
Everybody got beat up.
And that's where we go. Then that's what I wanted to get back to, is that Howard, see, for me, I got beat up. And I'll never forget, I was in the basement of my parents' house. And 10 years old, after my father beat me up because I used a piece of wood. He was OCD and a hoard,
like a hoarder?
A hoarder, and he had a piece of wood, and I used a piece of wood to build a go-kart with my friend John, like 10 years old. So he slapped the crap out of me, and I, in front of my friend, but it's not just like one slap. You can go, okay, sometimes, even though I don't think that's cool either. But it would be a lot of slaps.
You were the object of his violence. And his anger.
And it was a lot of slaps, and I'll never forget. I was in my basement, just like getting away from everything. I said, one day I'm going to be a father. And I'm never going to ever raise my hand to any of my children. Nor I don't even want to ever
even want to do that.
I'm stuttering here. Hold on. Anti-stuttering medication. I don't want to raise my voice to him even. Just because of that. And
how have you done with that?
And then I said, and I'm going to have a little boy, and I'm going to name him Oscar, and I'll never ever, and never hit that kid. And I do have my youngest son. His name is Oscar. I love him to death, and I've never ever hit my kids.
Cheers to that. You broke the cycle.
Yep, I broke the cycle, and that's where we're getting back to Howard. He didn't break it. His father called him a moron. He told him to shut up, and instead of choosing to be different than his father, Howard decided to be just like his father. So that's the point I was trying to make. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, so then take us to when, how did you leave Howard, and was that, I'm sure it wasn't that easy to do, but how did that all come about, and how was that run at the Tonight Show?
Oh boy.
That's even how you come here, because Jen and Teo. So there you go. Teo and Jen is here behind our.
This is so funny. I just got to tell the story. It's so fun. I don't know if you remember Jen. This is so funny. So
everybody knows Jen. Jen is here, you guys.
All right. So Jen, the very beautiful Jen. So Teo was one of my favorite editors. Teo was Jen's husband. So when I was on the Tonight Show, and I'm a writer there, and we really need, and I'm sure Teo has told you, we had to get things in there. We were on a deadline.
Yeah.
I mean, literally,
like crazy, like right up to the moment.
Literally at 3:55, because they taped at 4, if our stuff was not there, that's it. And we all had to get stuff on because our head writer at the time would have a point count. So it's like everyone,
Hello, Jack.
Jack the Madman Cohen. So he had this point count. So if you don't get it on, then you lose. Like it which is really kind of silly in the bit. But anyway, I'd be with Teo, and and I had a great time with Teo. But one time I'm on LinkedIn, and I don't know if you remember this, Jen. I'm on LinkedIn now. I know Teo's wife. I've hung out with her, but I I guess your headshot on LinkedIn I don't make a connection that it's you. Yeah. I'm like, hey, how you doing? You want to have a drink or something? And she's like, do you know who this is? I go, no. She goes, it's Teo's wife. I go, oh, shit. I didn't know. And I think I text Teo or something, and I said, yeah, I didn't know.
I totally remember this story.
And that's
hilarious.
Why we're getting divorced, John.
No, but it's so funny because I always loved Teo. Neat guy, though.
Yeah, it's great.
Very.
A great story about Teo, and I know this is one of my favorites. And there was a writer who told me the story. Do you know this story?
No, tell me, please. I might.
They are editing Orion Seacrest, thing, and they're talking about how he's so with his eyebrows and his thing, and the writer said to Teo, "Do you ever think about coloring your eyebrows or like doing that?" And Teo goes, "With these eyebrows, I don't think so." Because Teo's, I mean, you must say he's like the metrosexual kind of guy.
Totally.
Well, that was all my doing.
But because he's a good-looking guy.
He's a very good.
Put it this way, I was once out with Teo, me and Kevin and Jack, and we all went to Big Bear.
I remember that.
Yeah, on our motorcycles. Mm-hmm. And I go, I don't know. I'm divorced, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm not having any luck. I'm not meeting any. I'm not meeting any women. And Teo goes, "Look at you. Would you fuck you?"
That's hilarious.
That's the extent of your pep talk.
Do you know that story, Jess? Yeah, it was very funny.
That's hilarious.
But all right, well,
I need to rethink.
yeah.
Can you move closer to me? I'm not
baby.
trying to get frisky.
Are
but
you getting a little jealous that I'm talking to Jim?
A little bit. My hair's
Really?
a little. My nails are getting longer.
Is that better?
Yeah, like I just want to frame.
Oh,
us.
is it for that? Oh, because I'm looking at that.
Instagram up there.
Oh.
And we got the Facebook down here.
Oh, so you should have moved.
Look at me. I look like I'm like doing, gymnastics. But anyway, let's go back to the Tonight Show for a second. I want to know like how that.
No, do that again. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't realize.
Yeah, no, I didn't either. I was, engaged with you.
So the Tonight Show was, it's okay. So I told my wife I can't wait to.
Amazing.
This,
It wasn't Kate.
Robin Leach and
Wow, that's quite a cast.
yeah, and Melissa Rivers.
It was fun.
And Nikki Ziering. Yeah, no. At their a little rain is going to bother you. So I'm in because there was no dry clothes. So I'm in my underwear hanging out. It's pouring on me and I'm just hanging out and I don't have a problem, but I'm cracking jokes and, and asking those questions to everybody. I got every question I asked. I asked Bruce, why did you get a nose job? I go, you were a good looking dude. He goes, I didn't like that it was too long and stuff, which we all know why.
Yeah, of course, now we know why.
Now we know why. But and I asked, I asked Melissa
Cameras
Rivers.
Off. Sorry.
Like about is it hard to live in, in the shadow of your mother?
Yeah,
I mean, everything that they all like, and are your boobs real? Everything. I mean, I asked everybody. I asked, Chris Judd, is he mad at J-Lo for screwing him over? And he goes, you know what, John, nobody's ever asked me that. But everything was good. But I was getting a lot of love, from all the people out there.
Right.
And I ended up, just from the votes, I ended up getting to last day. But the most important part is the whole time of the show, like I'm getting all this popularity from celebrities, from like the millions who are watching. Mm-hmm. Which of course irritates Howard because he's like, well, this gets back to the new Howard now, and I mentioned this in my best-selling book, Easy for You to Say, available on Amazon. All right, cheap plug. Yeah. But Howard's always wanted to be part of the mainstream. The reason why he's always trashed all those big-time celebrities is because he always wants, he wanted their love. Right. So he sees me getting, and that's why he's getting angry at me.
It's not a good thing.
But anyway, the whole time on the cot, I'm praying. I hope Jay Leno is making fun of this show and making fun of me. And I hope I could be a guest on the Tonight Show. That's my dream. This is my dream because for anybody who is a comedian or, any kind of performer, artist, to be a guest on the Tonight Show is like,
you've arrived.
I made it somehow.
Yeah.
So I was praying and praying. So I make it to the last day, even though I have a small charity. I'm playing for my friend in a wheelchair who eventually passed away, Kevin Kalinowski. I love you. Anyway, I'm playing for a small charity. Melissa, Bruce, and all these guys, Chris, they're all playing for, I'm stuttering here, Make-A-Wish, which is,
that's a huge foundation.
Which is, so they got tons of calls voting, but I still managed to make it to the last day. Anyway, so I get off the, so I come in third, I walk off, and there's my wife, and she goes, I have a surprise for you. And I go, what? She goes, you're booked on the Tonight Show tomorrow night. And it was like, I get chills. I got chills even telling the story then, because I was like, so I flew to LA and then I wrote the jokes in the town car on the way to the Tonight Show, and then did the segment, and it's on YouTube now, and it's on my page. But if you if you ever watched the first guest appearance on Tonight Show, it was just a guy being at the right place at the right time, doing the right thing. And when we got to commercial break, the head writer, Joe Medeiros, and the executive producer, Debbie Vickers, in the commercial break, offered me a job.
This is that's magical.
Yeah.
Right. And you strike me, when I was doing the research, you strike me as somebody who has good things happen. And I think, and this is not me blowing smoke, I just think you're a really good guy.
Thank you.
Right. And you admit that. So even as you're asking these ridiculous questions that are really rude, there's a part of it that is okay. And I think that's probably why you were able to get through as far as you did. And speaking of, you got through to the White House.
Yeah.
And I don't even understand how that is even possible. Like, you got through to the president.
That's not on still.
We're here. We're now on a second camera.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Good looking out, G.
I just want to, I still have the producer part of me. I love how, I love how my shirt and shorts don't,
Well, it's the right way to sit. It makes your legs.
Look, for everybody who's going to beat me up for the shorts, it's like 100 freaking degrees out here in LA. And I sweat everywhere.
And we have the air conditioner off because we don't want the humming.
I sweat in the shower. So, I just wanted to be cash. I mean, she's all decked up.
I'm all because I knew that I was going to see you live. Usually I have my pajama bottoms on with my slippers, and then I'm all dolled up from the neck, from the waist up.
I think you look gorgeous, baby.
Thank you, boo-boo. Hey, before we go, I want to make sure
you want to meet up in the Willie Nelson room a little later?
That a little bit later. I have some things to show you, Lance, I want Lance to come on for a second, because Lance is the owner of all of the 9 Canyon clubs. And we're going to get back to you, though. I want you to come say hi. No, I want you. No, you sit here.
I'm sitting with him.
Oh, okay.
No.
You won't be able to be seen, Lance.
No.
I'm here.
No. We're just going to do this.
No, go ahead. You have one.
Hi, Lance.
How are you?
I'm good. So all of this happened today. Complete surprise to me. I've been broadcasting from here thanks to Lance and Karen, who own the 9 Canyon clubs. They've given me the okay. I've been sitting here by myself with Gus, the two of us. And now all of a sudden, the Canyon Club is opening.
Practicing your social distancing.
Everything has changed. It's renovated. We're all 6 feet apart from each other. You've made a lot of provisions. But here's the deal. This is the legendary Canyon Club. This man, has been responsible for allowing entertainers that have touched our lives from 40 years ago, from 50 years ago, from 30 years ago. And he has provided a platform for all of those entertainers. And that is a gift. And that I want to say thank you to, because what happens in the Canyon clubs are people come alive again. They feel their youth. They feel the nostalgia. My hair is standing up. And it brings everybody back. And the good time that's had by people in the Canyon clubs is really palpable. And that's why they're so successful.
Oh, that's great.
And that's this guy right here, Lance Sterling, and Karen.
Super fan.
Karen, his wife, Karen Sterling. Right.
She didn't.
I'm good, right? I'm so good.
You never know nowadays.
I don't know. I just want to make sure. So I want to know a little bit about you. John, is that okay? I just want to talk to Lance for 1 second because it's opening.
Talk to him as long as you want.
Okay, beautiful. How much time do we have to? 10 minutes, 15?
I don't care.
Okay. Just tell us about the clubs and how you've done what you've done and what we could look forward to as we reopen.
Well, it's let's start back about 20 some years ago. I ran into a guy named Isaac Tigrit who was building a place called the House of Blues. Mm-hmm. And I had the unique ability to kind of understand what he was coming up with. So we came up with the House of Blues, and it was so successful that people were throwing money at us and like morons. We kept taking money, and we took so much money that one day I came to work, and there used to be Isaac, Carol Gonseth, Jim Dunn, myself, was corporate office. And one day I came in, there was 27 people in corporate office.
Oh, wow.
And they had gotten rid of Isaac, and they had a guy, don't want to say names, but his title was, I was Vice President of Operations and Development. Uh-huh. And then I came to work one day, and I had a guy who was senior vice president of operations.
Oh
and
God! So
development.
that's how it was going to go.
He managed one person. I managed 500. So he managed me.
Mhm.
So I realized that the time was thin there. So we did the '96 Olympics, where I met my beautiful wife. And,
Doing what?
She was marketing. She was out of New York, and
you're JoJo's manager.
Jojo Siwa.
JoJo Siwa's manager is Lance's wife. I just found that out today. Lots of surprises today.
and she was a marketing genius at House of Blues, and she never really, she's the one that really got us
Going.
everything. She's the one that
I
did.
love that.
I guess she's the one that did the car deals, the original sponsorships. Like I
Wow.
like to say that I'm the guy that hit singles and doubles, and I think since we've been open at the Canyon Club, we've done about 40,000 concerts. And but she sits up to that plate, and when she swings the bat, she takes her time, but she hits grand slam
I
home
love
runs.
that. That's
So-
amazing. Kudos to you, girl. Cheers.
So
It's
basically, we were operating that, and then as the corporate world and the political world works,
beautiful. Mhm.
everybody screws each other.
Mhm.
So during the time that they got rid of Isaac, and that was the time that I went back to work, and I had a boss with my title with a senior in front of it. And so Karen and I decided, since we had fronted all the money for the
Why not?
tabernacle,
Right.
we just said, screw it. We're not the House of Blues
And how long
anymore.
ago was that?
That was 1998, was it?
Okay.
So it was 1998 because and then we opened up the tabernacle. Then there was a huge proxy fight, and everybody was suing everybody else. And back then, it sounds kind of cryptic, but it was not unusual to find like a dead animal laying on the front
Right.
of your.
Yeah, all of
your
that.
thing.
Yeah, I'm from
We had-
Brooklyn. I get
yeah, I was
that
gonna
really
say,
well.
We had
Yeah.
the guy in the parking lot next to us was found dead
Yeah.
somebody shot him in the back
So
of the
this
head.
is something that you were called to do. Like,
What?
I know. I was like, we don't need the dead body. The dead body.
Yeah.
But this is like a calling for you. Obviously, this is something. Your music is
I think
entertainment.
I think my Uncle Mark, when I was growing up, I was born, and my Uncle Mark was 14 years old. So I grew up the entire time thinking, this guy is a fucking, oh my God, he's a rock legend. He had his band.
I didn't know that.
Everything was on it. He had a band called Eros, and if you lived in New York, he was the guy, man.
Right.
He was the one that was amazing. So to me, I wanted to play music all the time, but I have lovely fat fingers, and I cannot
Play an instrument
I can't play an instrument.
easily.
I can sing little Bing Crosby,
Mhm.
but outside of that,
Oh.
I was pretty musically inept.
I don't know.
But,
I don't know if you should have told me that.
I know, it's like,
Do you maybe want to sing a little ditty?
Yeah.
Come on.
I have the I'm dreaming of the white Christmas is
I'm
normal.
learning a whole lot today.
So
It's a big day.
so
So cut to that.
So I wasn't able
tell us
to-
how you like.
yeah, I
this
wasn't able
all-
to play. So literally in in-
Sorry.
oh,
Sorry.
in
Excuse me, Karen.
Yeah.
Not getting frisky with your husband.
In high school, basically, I was the guy that we would basically go out to a field.
Mhm.
I'd buy kegs of beer that I'd smuggle out from my dad. Sorry, Dad. I know you didn't know that I was stealing beer from your grocery
Right.
store.
Well, he knows
But
now.
I would take kegs of beer. We'd tap them.
Mhm.
I'd get a music box from Caldors,
Uh-huh.
if you remember
Yeah,
Caldor.
Caldors, sure.
And we'd put music on out in the field with battery operated.
Mhm.
We'd collect money at the door. We'd give you your cup. And then we would leave before the cops came. So
Entrepreneurial from
there'd be like
from-
400
from
people
young.
in a field with a huge party.
See,
My-
that's amazing. To
my
me.
son
People
is
know
there.
what
He's
they're
not
going to
to
do,
take.
right? They know who they are at a young age, and really, that's an interesting thing.
Yeah, back then we would collect, it was like we'd collect $2 or $3 per person for the cup to
Right.
drink out of.
Right.
That's where the original red cup parties came from.
Wow.
And they would drink $2 or $3. You'd go you'd have 200 people. And back then,
That's amazing to
yeah,
me.
we
That's
had to pay
amazing.
like $40 for beer. And we were
Really?
like, everybody was gone. The cops would show up, say who's in charge, and they'd all go, I don't know.
See, there's a pattern here. I think people know who they are at a young age, and you just sort of like this guy, right? John knows who he is, knows what he's doing, and kind of just follows that path. And it seems like that's the same for you.
Yeah.
How did you? Let's just bring John in. How did you guys meet each other, and how did you come to find
John
that
was
on?
John was playing here.
John, come over here.
Oh,
Come.
And
I don't want you to sit on my lap because that's inappropriate. Although I do want you to. Okay?
ooh, I think he'd take that.
Sit. I'm sit on the leg. I don't need
Want
you
to switch
sit on my
seats?
what?
Want to switch seats?
What? If she's gonna sit in my lap? No.
You gotta go a little forward.
All right, hold on a minute.
How much time do we have left, you guys? Nice.
All right, you got plenty.
Nice.
Yeah, let me just get this ready. Oh, look at you!
So
Yeah, look.
wait, 2 years ago you played here. That I heard.
He
today.
played here, and then we were out at Gus's bar, and
Okay.
and we were hanging out, talking, and probably making fun of somebody.
Yeah, I remember we was. Did you smoke then?
No,
Because I was smoking, but we were outside. But I did quite a few shows. I remember
Yeah, I
I
think
did
you're,
one with
you're
Sam
probably,
Tripoli. I did one with a female comedy.
Craig
Didn't you
Shoemaker
play here, too?
No.
What?
Didn't you play music here?
I don't know.
No.
I mean, I've been here a bunch of times. I came here to see the head writer from the
Yeah.
from the Tonight Show, and
What's
then
his name again?
Joe Medeiros, and then
What
Jay,
a great guy.
yeah, and then Jay Leno came. You know, because Jay's always that. You know, Jay's one of the best guys in the world.
He's
know, I've
he's a
heard
lot
that.
on TV now. I'm surprised if you watch like Jay's Garage.
Right.
Yeah,
all
And how
kinds
long
of
were you
stuff.
on the Tonight Show for?
10 years on the Tonight Show, 15 years on the Stern Show. It's been a hell of a ride.
That's something. Is Howard going to retire after this?
I hope so.
Yeah, no, I don't. I never know because
Because
he's getting so political now. It's
Yeah.
like, oh,
But it's not only that. I just think that it's time. Like don't you want to leave somewhat on top?
On a high
yeah,
note.
you're right.
You know,
He doesn't need the money, obviously.
no.
But then I think to myself, well, what is he going to do? Like somebody like that just needs to work all the time. So like, then what do you do with your life after that? Like,
I
you have
agree.
to
I mean,
really
but what do you do
break.
when you're at home? What do you do? Do you like watch TV? Like I ban the news from my house. I don't want to watch the news. Every now and then I like the riots. I see them out there rioting and stuff. It's all kind of like a car accident. You should watch it and you're
I
thinking
know
like,
this sounds crazy, but I like to cook and stuff.
you do. What's your favorite thing to cook?
Beer can chicken.
Really? That's very cool. I just got a Big John 6-foot grill.
Yeah.
And I'm wetting my pants over it. I was cooking shish kebabs but the beer can chicken would be great on that.
I made sauerbraten because I can't seem to find sauerbraten
Really?
anywhere here in LA.
There's actually a place on Topanga with a little German deli, and you go back. You know that one? It's like
Oh,
you go
yeah?
back there, and the lady speaks German because ich spreche viele Deutsch. I
And you
speak
get the
German.
sour
Yeah.
Spoken Sie Deutsch.
and you
Yeah.
get the sauerbraten with the red cabbage and
No
all that.
shit, all of that stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
Why does
Who would know it was ever there?
Oh my god, it's a little tiny yellow sign that just says German deli on it. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's so good.
You know, and you get it hot?
Everything's so good.
Where the hell
It's
is this
it's
place?
a little old lady back there. She's not little. She's as big as I am. I mean, she's a older woman that could body slam you pretty easily. And she cooks everything and makes everything herself. And it's just freaking amazing. Coogan. Oh my. Then you don't have to worry about the kegels.
Right.
But I like to. But yeah, I like to cook. I like to.
And you're doing your podcast, and that's
I do my podcast.
That's what made you decide to do your podcast, and how did you come about the fact that some of them are 15 minutes and some of them are over an hour? Like how, and they're not every week. Like how what's your format and how did you?
Oh no,
decide?
I'm pretty formatted now. It's every Tuesday and Thursday. Although I do have a very special one this Monday. I don't know. You know, I recently had James Carville on, and it
That
got me a
was
lot.
incredible.
That was great.
That
James
was
Carville.
incredible.
The White House.
But I'm sorry.
The White House story. that you were
Oh, the White House story is the best because it's all right. Little inside baseball, but one of the old guys from the Stuttering show, this guy Casey Armstrong, was supposed to be a guest on my show that day, and he said he was too busy. So we didn't have a guest. So my producer said, you know, let's call the White House and talk to Trump. And
of course, naturally.
And I go, all right. So we literally just Googled White House phone number.
Right.
I swear to you, this is how, I swear on my life, this is how crazy it is. So I called first, because I've hung out with Trump, and I called first and said, you know, how now I'm saying, yes, hello, this is Sean Moore. Myself in the world. There hasn't been a worse accent since Lindsay Lohan in The Parent Trap. So, you know, so I go, I am the assistant to Senator Bob Melendez. He wants to speak to the president. Swear on my life. It's all on my podcast. So
Trump's in there not doing anything.
no, so they go, we're gonna call you back because I'm on an 818 area code, which is LA. So they call me back. They go, we have one question. If you're Senator Bob Menendez's assistant, he's Jersey. Why do you have an 818 area code? I go, oh, it's because we're on holiday. As if your area code changes to wherever you go. They go, all right, so we'll call you back. You know, we'll have the president call. So now I'm like, and I'm actually on the way to a date. I'm showering. I got my suit halfway on because I'm late. I'm driving to the date in Beverly Hills, and I get a call from what sounds like Mickey Mouse, but it's Jared Kushner.
Oh, really?
This is so crazy.
I swear on my life, this is all true. So, and I know it's him because it's coming from a 202, which is like, you know, the DC area code, and the last four digits are 0000. They're calling me from Air Force One. Literally, because they told me that Trump was on Air Force One. I'm like, and he goes, yeah, hi, Senator, you know, what do you want to talk to the president about? And I just pull it out of my ass. Well, we had a long conversation about immigration reform, and I want to just get some closure on it. And he goes, okay, should I pull him out of, this meeting
out of the
now?
national security meeting?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Or do you want us to call you back? I go, no, he can call me back, because in my head I'm going, I got to figure out how to record this, and I can't do it. So I call my friend who's like an equal prick like me in Long Island. I go, look, I'm gonna just say that I'm Sean Moore. I'm gonna say, Senator, are you there? You hit record, and then I'll take over from there. So sure enough, 10 minutes later, yes, we have the president. So I go, oh, okay, let me just get the senator on the phone. And then I just I call my friend. I go, Senator, are you there? Which is meaning, are you recording?
Right.
And he goes, yes. I go, yes, hello. Yes, hello. And there's Trump.
Really?
And I have a 4 to 5 minute conversation about immigration reform, Supreme Court justice picks. And the whole time I'm talking to him, and I don't sound senatorial. I sound janitorial. And I have a 4 minute conversation with him, and he has no idea the whole time. And then
did you ever share with him who it was, or
what happened was, so then I'm calling Huffington Post. Yeah, if you just go back in my catalog, it's the funniest thing. Like, people go, well, you didn't say anything funny to him. All I wanted to do was ask him about immigration reform.
Oh, really?
Right.
It wasn't supposed to be funny, but the funny part is how I got him on the phone.
I wanted to talk to Jared Kushner.
Well, there's not much to toss in.
Yeah, but it was great. And then finally, Huffington Post didn't believe me. Nobody believed me. People at the pub, people at my favorite pub were like, can't happen. I go, I have him. This is him on my phone. They didn't believe me. Finally, it took Politico to say
This is real.
They said the White House was scrambling to figure out how this stuttering idiot comedian got in touch with the president on White House on Air Force One, and it was like
They called him.
they called me. I didn't have to go to Jared; he came to me.
That's
So
great.
are there any repercussions from that?
Yeah. Then
Secret Service at your house.
yeah. And then the next day, so now I'm celebrating at the pub. I'm like, yeah, I told you, mother. I told you I got a hold of him. We're all celebrating. I get back home, and the kids in the neighborhood are in front of my door. They're like, John, the Secret Service was just here banging on your door. I go, how do you know it was them?
That's so scary.
Well, besides the fact they were wearing suits and everything, they showed us their badges.
Oh, really?
And I'm like, oh, no.
A Secret Service badges.
Yeah. And
I don't
then,
think I've ever seen a Secret Service
No,
badge.
neither have I.
and then my agent called the next day, which is more unbelievable than getting in touch with the president, that my agent actually called me. And, and she's like, the Secret Service, they want to talk to you. So I go, okay.
Did you record that?
No, but I said, okay, do they just want to interview me or do they want to arrest me?
Beat you with a hose.
And they go, well, we can't tell you that.
Oh, yeah.
So I go, well,
Have fun.
should I get a lawyer? They go, that's up to you.
Oh shit!
So I call Michael Avenatti, who I find number on Google.
I thought he was in jail.
Well, this is before.
Oh.
Now he needs me to represent him. So I call Avenatti. He calls the Secret Service. Are you going to arrest him? No. Could I get that in writing? No. Then he's not coming up. Well, then he's not showing up.
And you never talked to him.
I never talked to him, and it went away until I got the IRS sent me a letter saying I owed back taxes from 2014.
And they didn't remember until they heard you on the.
And by the way, this is really weird because I didn't make whatever you say 150,000 this last year, especially with the COVID and all. I have never gotten a stimulus check.
Really? You never got yours?
And I can see that tiny hand prick go, screw him. He got the best of me. He's getting nothing. You'll get nothing.
My Secret Service story is this. I used to, when I had the Tabernacle in Atlanta, I used to literally fly down there over the weekend. I would collect the cash. Talk about freaking illegal. I would collect all the cash, $40,000, $50,000 in cash. I'd get on a plane. I'd fly back to Simi Valley, and I'd go to the B of A and deposit it. It had $10,000 in fake 20s in it.
Oh.
Yeah. All of a sudden, they're saying, could you sit over there, please?
Wow.
And they waited for me.
You had no idea when they said
I
sit
met
down,
my
you were
original banker from that because she was the one that called the Secret Service on me.
Wow.
Jeez.
So now, is that
And you know what's really screwed
Were you
up?
scared? Were you,
No, I wasn't scared. I was more scared when I realized transporting that much money across state lines is illegal.
Yeah, you're right.
I did not know that. I thought,
Yeah.
it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I didn't want to wait till Monday to freaking go there.
Of course they can.
I have experienced over the past 12 weeks that they can pretty much do fucking anything they want.
Yeah.
They can say,
It's a
all
rude
those
awakening,
contracts
isn't it?
you've entered into, you're responsible for them, but you can't open anymore.
Yeah.
But we're open. We're
Right.
open. And I happen to be here because we're testing out all the new food
This
because
is all like what
we went
happened
to
just like this.
Kismet.
Yeah.
It's so amazing.
It's awesome.
And you're here. This is like
Yep.
good luck.
And this is,
6 minutes.
and this is a great
Thank you for
place.
that.
And I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass.
Well, now
Oh,
I
good.
understand they can have one or two people on stage. So obviously
We can do
now
it.
you can
We can do the
come
show.
out and do
Oh.
a COVID show.
Oh,
And
really?
maybe get you over that
Dude.
fucking
Oh,
150.
can do a show now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we can
I
do
found
that.
this out today,
We can't
right
do a
before-
show. I can't
we can-
charge to get in,
But we can do it.
but I can be on stage and you
Oh,
can
I
do
would
that.
love to. Okay.
And what we'll do is we'll collect gratuities for your jokes, so they can. It's like when the
You know,
old
when you put out your
Seinfeld.
hat.
You start out with the $10
Yeah.
tip, and then every
It'll
time
be
they
like
fuck
church,
up,
we all
keep
do the
pulling
thing,
it
you know.
away.
Yeah.
Reach deep down into your pocket. Yes.
Well, this has been awesome. You
I
guys,
was
thanks
dreaming
for,
of a new car.
Thanks for
Yeah.
tuning in. Stuttering John Melendez is in the house.
Yeah.
And Lance Sterling
great
is in
seeing
the
you.
house. This has been amazing.
What kind of car do you drive?
Well, I have a Mustang. I used to have a Toyota Corolla,
Ooh, that's
which
nice.
I love. but I gave that to my daughter when she passed her road test. But really, my favorite car is my Harley.
Really? Do you drive a Harley around? I drove a
Yeah.
Harley forever.
Yeah.
And then when I had kids and somebody hit me and I got on it, I got another one and I got on it. I was driving down the 118 freeway. I was like, I went like 6 exits and I'm like, screw this, man.
It's
I'm
not
going to
fun.
die, because I realized I had nothing to do with dying or not.
Yes,
it was the
right.
idiot sitting next to me
No,
with
I
their
know.
phone
Right.
like this. And I think
That's right.
I'm going to be dead.
What kind of Harley do you have, John?
I have a Harley Heritage, and
Big one.
I've ridden with Teo, and I love the Harley. I love to be outdoors. I go to the rock store all the time,
That's cool.
and hang out. Sometimes Jay's there. Hey John, how you doing? I think everything's fine with me. How you doing? That's the funny thing. Like I'm talking about.
That's okay.
That's the funny thing about, and I'm sure Jen will also. Anybody who works on the Tonight Show with Jay Leno, it doesn't matter if you're Paige or you're the head writer. Everybody does a Jay Leno impression.
Really?
So sometimes we'd get caught. We'd be like, "Hey, yeah, everything's fine." Hey, show people, how are you? And then
Does
he'd
he get
walk by and
upset?
he goes, "Just shut the fuck up." But Jay is by far. See, that's like the complete juxtaposition of Howard. Jay, nicest guy.
Takes care of everything.
His door is always open, from a Page, which is like an intern,
Right.
to the exec producer. And anybody who wants to talk to Jay, and I'm sure Jen will
Anybody
back
could.
this up. Anybody, he'll say, "Come talk to Mr. Leno," the nicest guy, and that and it's just like I love to see how
Whatever
successful.
happened with them? They just said you're done and fired them. And what the fuck was
You
that?
know what kind of shit I went through, dude? I leave the Stern Show, I get to the Tonight Show a month in. They call a meeting at the conference room and say Jay is leaving and being replaced by Conan, and I just stood up and said, "Jay, I haven't unpacked yet." And then we got replaced by Conan.
Right.
Conan failed.
And
Then we
they
did the
moved.
Jay Leno show. Then they canceled that, and then we got the Tonight Show back. I mean, talk about a roller coaster ride,
There is no loyalty. There's nothing, man.
None.
So my big story with the nicest guy I ever met is there was a guy named Preston Robert Tisch. He was a postmaster general of the United States, and he owned the Giants, and he also owned Lowe's Hotels.
Yeah.
That son of a bitch made me feel like I was a room service manager. He made me feel like I was the most important person in the world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He
So good.
literally, in 2 seconds, any shit would go down. I would have that guy's back
Back in a
in
heartbeat,
2
yes.
seconds. And you know what I mean? He was famous. He was worth,
Billions.
he's one of those rags to riches. He started out with 100 million and made it into 200 million. It's amazing.
John, do you know why Jay's company is called Big Dog Productions?
You know what? I don't.
You don't?
I think it's because
The question is, does John know why?
why Jay's company is Big Dog. Hasn't he always been called Big Dog?
Well, it's for something else.
Oh,
Oh.
is it because his
Johnson.
thing?
Yeah.
Oh
I thought you knew that.
no, I didn't
Oh,
know.
hey,
That's why.
oh.
Oh,
This is an interesting way to end the
Wow.
show.
Wow.
Is
Well,
that
we-
what it's all about?
Yeah,
Huh?
wow.
Well,
You
so
know,
he's
we
called
need a
Big
term.
Dog because of his
China.
appendage.
Dog.
Yeah. Well,
Is that why you're
Cheers,
called Little
cheers.
Dinkies?
no. Hey, dude, I don't know about you, but I'm hung like a jalapeno.
I got my wife because I used to tell her, I said, I'm not too long, but I'm not too far big around either.
This is very interesting as we say goodbye. As we say goodbye. What are
By
we
the
doing?
way, Antoinette, I'm
Yes.
talking about a big jalapeno.
Massive.
I know.
And it burns if you put it on your skin.
Lance Sterling, Stuttering John, Antoinette Perugine, Antoinette friends here at the Canyon Club. Thanks, you guys, for tuning in.
Great job.
Thanks for having me.
Woo! In the
Nice seeing you, John.
house.
Hey, I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'll
if
see
you want to
again.
do something, tell me. Sure.
Love it here.
Yeah, it's better
So
good.
good. That looks so good.
From now on.
It looks so good. Yeah. Good job.